Welcome to Pet Partners. It's so good to be back with all of you in the heat of the summer and with so much going on. And it's been a busy time at the Rutland County Humane Society, as you can imagine, as it always is. And here to talk with us about it is our friend from RCHS, Amelia. And with you, you have Poseidon.
Yes, well, thank you so much
Hi.
for having us again.
Welcome. We're happy to see you again. From everything I hear, out and about in the community, it sounds like you've got a lot of animals up for adoption right now and a full house.
Absolutely, we really do. He's chiming in as well. He said he's ready to go home. Right now we have a lot of animals coming in the door, and we are adopting out, but it's definitely slowed down in the middle of summer, which is kind of a trend they're seeing across the nation right now, which is one reason we're actually participating in the National Clear the Shelters movement. So that is through the whole month of August. We're going to be, the goal is exactly what it sounds like, to clear the shelter as much as we can to make room for more animals to find homes. And so through the entire month of August, we're going to be reducing the adoption fee by 50%. So for anyone who's kind of been on the fence, considering it, not quite sure, or even just want to pop by and visit an animal because you never know who you'll fall in love with, it's a really good time of year to adopt an animal. So we definitely encourage you to come on in and meet somebody. You might fall in love.
Well, hopefully that will be just the little spur that's needed for some folks. It can be an expensive time of year with back to school for some families. Getting those school supplies, and then of course some folks have taken vacations and things of that
Absolutely.
nature. But so it just helps a little bit, right? Helps to make that decision, or at least, like you said, come on in and see.
Absolutely, and that's kind of our hope is maybe people, like I said, are on the fence, or just not quite sure if this is the best time to do it. It is. It
Yeah, we were
absolutely is.
talking earlier. It is, right? Because we were talking about the warm days and the warm nights and the cool mornings to take the walks and things like that. It's just it's a more comfortable time of year. Well, maybe not right at this moment.
Today's hot.
Today is hot, but in general, summer is is a nice time.
Absolutely.
It's busy, but oddly enough, it's also a little bit slower, right? The
Kind
days
of
are a
between the
little
holiday
longer.
seasons,
Exactly.
4th of
before the
July is over.
Yes.
People, some people are traveling, but a lot of people either travel early summer or fall time before things get really busy before the holidays. And, adoptions tend to slow down, I think, because people are just so busy. But like you said, it's a good time to adopt. Days are still beautiful. You have all of fall ahead of you. We still have summer. Definitely feels like it today. And it's a great time. You get to acclimate your new companion before the holiday. Some people travel. Sometimes people have, they host for the holidays. So
Right.
it gives you that nice stretch of time to really get to know, your new family. You're not going to fit through there. Your new family member, and allow you to kind of come up with a routine before you change things. And you have a ton of nice days, evenings, mornings that you can go outside and bond and, have that time and enjoy the beautiful weather too.
Well, I'm convinced if I didn't have a house full and a barn full of animals myself right now, I'd be coming down. So for those of us who can adopt right now, we'll talk later about some of the other ways that we can help. But for those of you who have been thinking about it and are possibly on the fence,
Now's
this
the time.
could be the
Come on
perfect
in.
time.
Yep.
Absolutely. And with that 50% off adoption fees through the Clear the Shelter initiative, it's even better, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, you have Poseidon with you, and we're going to talk about him a little more when he pops up on the screen. But let's get going with who you have available for adoption right now.
Absolutely. So first on the list, we have our buddy Winston. He is a bulldog mix. He is about 5, he's just under 6 years old, and he's a total goofball. As you'll see, he is overweight, so he definitely needs somebody who's going to be consistent with his dieting, and definitely get him out for walks. He's a bit of a lazy bones, so even just a couple short walks throughout the day versus longer walks, especially in this heat, is definitely the way to do it. The big thing with him is he cannot go home with any other animals. He really just needs to be the only kid, and that if you have a lot of animals like dogs that come over on a regular basis, he's not going to be a good fit. it. So he really prefers, he needs a family that is just going to have him, and he will keep you entertained for sure. So
He will be the star of the show. You won't need anyone else.
There's not a dull moment when it comes to him. He's a total character. He likes to be a clown, and as you can see, he loves to play tug of war too. So if you want a dog that you can just sit on the couch with, play tug, keep him, he'll entertain you for a while. So
Oh my goodness, he is so cute. I know there's a lot of bulldog lovers out there, and would love to help him trim down just a little bit. I mean, bulldogs are not thin to begin with, but he just has a little extra there.
He's a little, yes, he could trim down a little bit for sure. And
Many
he'll
of
be
us
happier.
can relate.
Yes, absolutely. He's like the rest of us. So next we have this handsome boy, Poseidon. So he is about 3 years old. He's a shepherd mix. He's a very sweet boy, as you can see. He definitely is a little nervous Nelly, so he, new things, loud noises, sounds. He needs a little time to acclimate. I mean, even when we brought him here, he was a little unsure, but he warms up quickly. Can be bribed with food pretty easily, which is great. Food motivation makes it a lot easier for dogs to learn. He doesn't get along with cats, so he does need a cat-free home, but likes dogs, not every dog, so it really would be important just to let him meet the dog in the home. And it's like people, not everyone gets along with everyone, so I think a dog that matches his character and energy level will be a good fit for him. And then older kids also, just because he does startle a little bit easy, and until he can build that confidence, he needs kids that are going to be understandable and respectful of him in his space for sure.
And imagine how much confidence he'll gain just having a home and people of
Structure,
his own, right?
routine.
And structure, all of
Yeah.
those things are going to make the unexpected and the new feel a little less scary, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and that's not an unusual thing for young dogs that come into the shelter. There's not consistency, and it's a hard thing for dogs to get confidence. So once they get into that home and they build that relationship and trust, they learn very quickly, and they blossom very quickly, which is really nice.
Well, he really is a sweetheart, and he's had a lot of new things and new people thrown at him today, and he's resilient and working his way through it. So.
Absolutely, he's a smart boy for sure.
He is.
And speaking of smart, the next one we have is Gemma. She is a Belgian Malinois, and she's only 9 months old, so she's just a little baby. And anyone who knows the breed knows that this breed needs a savvy owner. She is definitely true, character-wise, very, very smart, but again, like working high-energy dogs, the kennel environment is tough for her. She's very, very stressed out, so we're really hoping to get her even into a foster home that knows this breed, because she is not doing, emotionally, she needs more than the kennel has to offer her. She's not great with cats, and again, a lot of that has to do with just her drive with the breed, and also just being in this environment. She's, needs outlets, so she does get very excited when she sees cats. Dog selective, again, would do best with a dog that's very similar to her, maybe another Mal or a Shepherd, or, somebody that's going to match her energy level, because they are high energy dogs for sure, and kids that also understand that she is a lot and she has a lot of energy. So probably not little kids, because when she gets moving around, bouncing around, she's she is only 56 pounds, but she's a fast 56 pounds.
Yeah, it's funny whenever you see those TV shows with where they're agility competitions or thinking type skills, and they run through all these courses with their handlers and stuff. I feel like 9 times out of 10 it's this breed, right? They're so smart, they're so
very
athletic,
smart.
and they need a lot of stimulation and ways to use their brain and their bodies too.
Oh, absolutely. And they were bred to be that way, and so I think
so many of them are police dogs, right?
Military,
and that kind of work. Yeah, military.
There's different levels of energy for this breed, but they're still going to be typically a higher energy dog than most people are equipped for. And not to say that not anybody, you just have to know what you're getting and understand the lifestyle has to fit what they need in order to be happy and have an enriched life. And then a lot of that is not just physical, but mental.
Right. So say
they're smart.
Winston's needs are very different from this
Absolutely.
dog's needs.
Very
And you
different
just have to
lifestyles.
think about that when you're adopting. right?
Absolutely. You definitely want to match make, and that's kind of our job, is to find that match for people, for sure.
And you all are very good at it.
Well, we do our best. So next is Tater Tot. So Tater Tot is just over 3 years old, and he's, as you can see, kind of just a wiggle worm. Very, very sweet. Just has a good nature about him. He's still pretty young, so he definitely needs some training with your basic manners, and kind of has that more puppy mentality. But he's a big puppy. He is a little dog selective. So what that means is, he, again, similar to Poseidon, is not going to love every dog he meets, but if you have a dog, they may get all, to be totally fine together and live a really nice life together. So just important that they do meet to make sure that that's the case. And, again, older kids, a lot of our dogs are older kids right now, and a lot of that is just because of energy level and, knowing that they don't always have the best manners, because again, kennel environment's hard to teach manners. So that can all totally change when they get into a home environment. They have regular exercise and a less stressful environment. That may totally change. So these are just kind of what we see at the shelter when we see them. So total ham though.
Aw, Tater Tot.
And next we have Evelyn. So this lady is 9 years young. She, when she first came in, she was kind of what we'd expect a 9-year-old pitty mix to be, just kind of mellow, leisurely walks, pretty chill home. We're finding out that is not the case. She is full of life, and she is, dog selective. So again, gets along with some dogs she's not a huge fan of. Older kids, we don't have any history with her with cats, so again, it may just be slow introductions. She may be totally fine, but she definitely needs some, even though she's older, she needs some work on her manners. And old dogs can learn new tricks, so she can absolutely learn those manners, but I think thinks that she's 9 and she can get away with, which I guess she can at 9 years old. She can get away with some
I have
things.
an opinionated 9-year-old dog at home as well, and I'm hearing a lot of things that are ringing true. So.
And it may just be that, she's like, I've set in my ways, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's fair. She's a total sweetheart.
Absolutely.
But definitely, she will test the boundaries with manners, and so jumping up and things like that. But absolute love bug, very sweet, loves people.
She's so
And
cute.
as you can see, full of life, loves to play.
Yeah, we have a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they have no sense of how old they are. Just
Which, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to see.
they still get zoomies multiple times
Yeah.
a day, and I'm like, aren't you too old for that? But they don't realize that they are. So
It's a wonderful thing, honestly.
there's plenty of time for them to slow down, I guess,
Absolutely.
and I'll be sad when it happens.
Absolutely. You gotta appreciate while they give it to you, for
So,
sure.
for sure.
And next we have Tinkerbell. So Tinkerbell is a Mastiff. She's a big girl. She's about 114 pounds, and she is another kind of gentle giant, not super confident, so she is definitely shy with new people. She would do best in an adult-only home. Kids they kind of stress her out a little bit. And if you do have kids definitely older, again, a lot of that has to do with just her space, respecting it, because she is another one who is a little bit standoffish and shy when you first meet her, and then, she warms up pretty quickly. But single dog home, that's what she doesn't seem to like other dogs. But she really just needs patience, a little bit of space, that time. People that know this breed, she is big, she needs exercise, but she's not going to be, as much exercise as Gemma, because she is a bigger girl, and they tend to have a pretty mellow personality. And so she definitely is very true to those breed characteristics. And she is on meds right now, so we're really looking for, maybe a foster to adopt. She's not quite available for adoption yet, but she will be very soon. So this is kind of a preview for people to take a look at her and see, if she's going to be a good fit for you.
I think Poseidon might have just noticed her too.
Yeah, he says, I like her. I think they're next to each other in the X-Pen, so they see each other and they know they get to
That's
run
your
around.
friend.
And
Yes,
he thinks
that's
it's a
your
good play
friend.
date. So next we have Keegan. We're jumping over to cats. And so Keegan is a domestic short-haired, very sweet boy. He's about 2 years old, and he's pretty bold. He's a pretty confident boy, and loves pets. He will, happily sometimes just be always begging for pets, but he just wants you to kind of really pay attention to him and focus on him, and he really ready to just kind of cuddle up and do things on his term, but he'll usually accept love as much as he can. And next we have Widow. She is another domestic short-haired.
Oh, look at those eyes.
She's very pretty little, not tiny cat, but more petite cat. 3 years old, so just under 3.5 years actually. The one thing about her is she really needs to be the only cat. She just, she's pretty independent and hasn't found a cat buddy that she's really agreed with. So we think she would be happiest, but she is, full of shenanigans, so she will definitely keep you entertained for sure. And she's a very affectionate girl, so she will kind of rule the roost, if you will.
Well, if you only want one, it doesn't seem like you would need more than one with her.
And I think that's how a lot of cats are, is usually when they want to be the only cat, they make up for, anyone who thinks they want another one. They make it pretty clear that, they're enough as far as personality.
right.
Their personality makes up for it.
What more could you need?
And after Widow, we have Bob Ross. So Bob Ross is actually a part of a bonded pair, and the next cat will be his other half. So Bob Ross is actually named after the famous Bob Ross, the
Yeah, I was
artist.
just going to ask, does he paint happy trees?
The name actually is funny, but it's not so glamorous. So when he first came in, he was a little stressed, and he actually used to paint the wall with his cat food.
Oh.
So his little paws. So one of the staff said, "You know what? You remind me of somebody."
That's clever.
That's why he got the name Bob Ross. He's so him and Tony, who is his other half, are both males. They are about 5 months old, and so they're both younger, and they are just both a little bit nervous at first, a little shy. You'll notice even in the videos they're not quite sure, but after a little bit they're pretty chill couple. So this is kind of the opposite of our friend and the Widow, because there may be 2 of them, but they're a little more mellow, and so you may not even know you have 2 of them.
Oh, wow.
But they really do rely on each other. They play with each other, they entertain each other, they get into little antics here and there, but overall they're very easy to have around cats and very, very sweet. But they definitely, if you try to separate them, they're not a fan of it at all.
Aw.
And so the next you'll see Tony, who's the black one, and they're both very similar personality. I think Bob Ross is slightly more outgoing at first, but they complement each other for sure very well.
He doesn't like the camera.
Yeah, he's a little more timid, I think, than Bob Ross. Bob Ross is ready to put on a show, I think. As you can tell, he keeps trying to steal the
He's
show.
very cute. I keep trying to picture him with curly hair
I
and
know,
little
a
beard.
little afro. Put a little paintbrush in his hand and you'll get it.
Absolutely.
So next we have Sketch, and don't let the name fool you. It's not what he suggests. He is a quiet, pretty mellow boy as well, but he is a total sweetheart. His name is a little deceiving, but he seems to do really well with other cats. He's just over a year old, so he's just a baby, and he really needs to do a place, with no dogs like this buddy. The barking and, they just tend to stress him out pretty well, so he really gets along with some cats, so he could be an only animal home, but again, if he finds another cat that he gets along with, that may be a good fit, and that may help with his confidence as well. But he's looking for kind of a quiet home and some space that he can kind of make his own and do things on his term, come out when he needs to, and so maybe older kids that, again, won't be chasing him around or anything
Right.
like that, gives him some space, but he's a pretty chill dude, as you can tell.
Aw.
Not totally star of the show, but not necessarily hiding out, but
You have all kinds of personalities in there.
we sure do. So next we have Faith. So she is a very, very pretty girl, and
Oh.
so she is, again, another just over a year old. A little shy at first. Again, this is pretty normal for cats in this environment. Pretty stressful. You know, they don't know us very well, so they tend to take a little time. And again, cats do that. So but she's a very, very sweet girl. We don't know a whole lot about her other than, you know, she seems to do well with other cats. We haven't had any issues, and probably cats that are similar that aren't going to be necessarily wanting to play with her all the time, but so she's happily to coexist with other cats, and you know, she does get a little playful when she settles in, but we're kind of still starting to see that side of her. But I think she's got a lot of sass underneath that, especially if being a tortie, that
Yes.
I think we'll start to see that personality as she settles in.
She's so pretty.
She's a sweet girl, and she's pretty little too. She's only like just over 6 pounds, so
Oh,
she's a
very
little girl.
petite.
So next we have Bentley. So Bentley is actually on hold right now. So he is going to be going home probably right now. So we're very excited about him. Super sweet boy, but we want to wish him the best of luck in his new home, because
Oh, absolutely. What
waiting
good
there.
news. So
Yeah,
this
he's-
is sort of like seeing the happy ending
Exactly. And
before it's happening, so.
he's been with us for almost 30 days. So we're
Oh,
really happy
wow.
for him to finally find that perfect home. So
He will be happy too, I'm sure.
I hope so. I think it's a very good fit. And next we have Indigo. So we're on kind of a roll right now. Indigo has actually got adopted today. So
Wonderful.
we're very happy for him. And, you know, he's another pretty easygoing cat. And he hadn't been with us for too long, just like 11 days. So not quite as long of a stay, but we're so happy to see him go. So we wish him the best of luck in his new home.
Well, it's nice to see these cats and dogs, and also just know that everybody eventually will find their home. You know, some
Exactly.
take a little longer and some get snatched up right away, and the right people just have to come in.
Exactly, and I mean, I think some people think that when animals are there for a while, you know, there must be something wrong with them, and that's not the case. Sometimes it's just, they just haven't found the right fit, and, you know, it all works out in the end. It's just waiting for that perfect family, and sometimes it just takes a little longer for some of these animals, and that's okay. You know, we're happy to take care of them until that comes along. Obviously, we want them to go home as quickly as possible to get them into that home and not have them at the kennel, but you know, we'll hang on to them and be their home until they find that perfect family. And so
That's right.
so next we have Crank. So Crank, he's another one that his name doesn't really fit his personality. So he is actually, I mean, he is 8 years old, but he's a super sweet boy. He looks a little grumpy, which is one reason he got that name, but he really is a total sweetheart. He is a cat that he wants to be where the action is. So if whatever's going on, he's going to be there. He wants to get the details. You know, he's going to be spilling the tea. Very,
Love
very
it.
sweet boy. He's a senior boy, but he, again, doesn't really act like it. He's got lots of spunk. He's playful. He loves to be pet. And he probably will just be your shadow. If you want a cat that's going to be with you all the time, kind of hanging out with you, keeping you company, he's definitely the cat to do it, because he's happy to be there. For
Oh,
sure.
that's good to know, because, you know, they all have their different personalities, and some people want their cats to be in on everything. Some people want
Absolutely.
their cats to be a little more in the background,
more
or just
independent,
snuggling
yeah.
or whatever, so.
And especially at 9 years old, you know, it's good to see a cat that wants to be social. You know, some
Yes.
cats tend to be a little more distant when they get older, but he's not. He wants to be where everyone else is.
That's great. He's a little extrovert.
Exactly. You gotta love it. So next we have our birds. So we have a couple parakeets right now, and they have some pretty cool names. No, you don't know their names. So they are Bowie, which it's hard to kind of tell in the video, but Bowie is the white and blue one, kind of tucked in the back there. Then we have Ozzy and Elvis.
Aw.
They were named actually before we had the news of
Ozzy. Yeah.
passing away. But all parakeets are all males, and they are all about a year old. And they did come in together. they don't have to necessarily go home together, but we do encourage them to go home together. The only reason we wouldn't send them home is if someone else has another parakeet at home that is similar in age and gets along with others, but we would prefer them to go. They have been together for a year, and they get along really well.
Right, and parakeets do so much better when they have
Absolutely, they
have
do have
company,
to be
yes.
in pairs or, groups, small groups they can do fine in, and these guys have a good thing going, a little boy band.
And they have great names.
They do, it's quite funny.
Just some of the greatest musicians out there, right?
Absolutely.
All in one place. Why wouldn't you want that?
Exactly, and I think they know it, because they're not overly, parakeets are chatty, absolutely, and especially when there's a lot of commotion. They absolutely are chatty, but these guys aren't overly chatty, I would say, and they're kind of a nice background noise. People really like the noise. They're kind of calming, and they all chit-chat with each other throughout the day, but they like to sing to each other, and yeah, we don't need to hear your voice. You're not a singer.
Even at their loudest, parakeets aren't super
No,
loud.
They aren't,
No,
and they're like
they
I
have
said,
little
it's-
voices.
Exactly, and they like to chat throughout the day, but they're pretty easy to have around. We have them out front, and they do well.
They're cute. They're fun to watch. I love parakeets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for some, we got 3 cuties that would love to go home
Yeah,
with
I think a
somebody.
lot of people don't know that they can talk too. Not all of them can, but those little parakeets can talk.
I
and
have
you have to
heard
really
that.
listen
Yeah.
because they have the tiniest little voices.
Right.
Sometimes you don't realize that they're talking, but they'll repeat phrases that they've heard again and again.
Interesting.
And so you never know.
I have heard that, but I haven't, I don't know if these guys do. It may
And I
be
don't think
something-
all of them do, and
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's males or females talk
Okay.
more than the other, but they can talk.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, how about that? Well,
They're just
that's-
as smart as the bigger birds,
good.
just they have the littler voices.
Right, so they're a little more subtle about it.
Harder
but
to tell what they're
yeah.
saying, but yeah, some
They're
of them.
very cool.
Yeah,
cool
they'll say
birds for
thank
sure.
you or just say the things that they hear all the time, like
that's too
"Hi,
funny.
baby," or Yeah.
So you gotta be careful
Look
what
it
you
up on
say around them.
YouTube. Yeah, look it up on
They'll
YouTube.
keep
There's
you-
some
all
cute
right,
little
yeah.
budgies talking.
We'll have
so.
to test it and see if we can hear them whispering.
Yeah, they might.
about things.
They
You
might be.
never
They're
know.
probably all talking about you
When we
all
leave,
they're-
they probably are talking about the day.
They're probably
and-
gossiping.
Absolutely. But, so as you can see, we've got a lot of good, animals, cats, dogs, birds. We got some bunnies that will be going up for adoption soon. So, whether you're
I
looking
was just
for.
going to say, normally you have always some bunnies, but it sounds
Yeah.
like you'll have some soon.
Yep. Shortly they'll be going up for adoption, and we've got couch potatoes, busy animals, social, more independent. We've got across the board. We've got something for everyone. So
It's a saddle for everybody.
exactly, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
That's good. So folks, just remember you can always go on the website just for that quick preview ahead of time. You can call the shelter.
Absolutely.
Come on in during visiting
Absolutely.
hours, because sometimes you just don't, you think you have your mind set on a particular pet, and there's just something that doesn't quite work, but then another one kind of calls to you. So you just have to go in with your your heart open, your mind open, and also a willingness to speak with the staff about it, because
Absolutely.
staff knows really well, what you have there. So. And real quick, if Chelsea wouldn't mind putting up the wish list for us,
Absolutely.
if folks are, thank you, Chelsea, she's so always on the ball. If you're out shopping, you could get some wet puppy food, some dog pill pockets to help them take their medicine, some Benabones, some Nylabones, or some soft, chewy dog treats. I think you would also mention that paper towels and trash bags with the drawstrings
Yes.
are really helpful right now.
Absolutely. Yep, we could definitely use those. And these are things that, we're kind of always using and always going through, so we're kind of always in a need for them, for sure.
Absolutely. And there's always an expanded list on the website as well. So
Absolutely.
we want to thank you, Amelia and Poseidon, for being with us today. We want to thank Chelsea and Rich and Jim for helping us put this program on today. And we'll be excited to see you next month for more Pet Partners.